Good evening. How goes it, my friends? Free the captives. What a pleasure and relief to see you there. Welcome, welcome. Nice tune. That tune is called Houston Barbecue by Sarah, the instrumentalist. Appreciate that. Free the captives. All right, my friends. Garland, what's up? Garland doesn't have a wrench. What's up with that? In case you haven't noticed, I'm just sort of I'm just sort of creating a mod city over here. We're going to go with the idea that, I guess most of the people here are going to be mods, I guess, I don't know. See how that works. Mod city. All right, my friends. We got some stuff. Got some stuff to get into tonight. So, everyone out there who has a wrench, just you know what to do. I mean, it's not like we're overrun here with trolls yet, but you know what to do. Just be smart. All right, folks. So, I wonder if that title helps you out at all. UFOs and Dance Fever. Anybody remember Dance Fever? Anybody around here old enough to remember Dance Fever? Danny Terrio? Really, come on. Somebody's got to remember Dance Fever. Let me just see if I can find you get you a little taste of what Dance Fever looked like. This is when I was a kid, when I was growing up. Television was not quite as offensive as it is today, but still fairly offensive. Yeah, here we go. Dance Fever opening montage. I guess I'll have to be careful with this. Been getting some copyright things coming my way lately. Got a cheapo copyright claim from that movie the other night. The movie was public domain. There was no reason for that movie for any copyright claim to be made on that video. It's public domain video. But what actually had happened? Someone claimed a trailer that they had made from the movie. And so there's about a 15 or 18 second section in the middle of the video in one of the key scenes where they had taken and made a trailer for the movie Last Man on Earth and copyrighted that trailer. And then I guess because that part of the movie played, they claimed that as their trailer. Ridiculous. I challenged it, but lost that one. I've had 5 copyright claims so far. I've challenged them all, and I've won them all except for that one. And that one was the most obvious. Anyway, folks, this is what Dance Fever looked like. Let me just see if I can. I don't know about this. All right, let's do it. Right there, my friends. Look at those pants. That's what I'm talking about. Come over me. You never know what you're going to see on Dance Fever. Right? Dance Fever. Well, we got Dance Fever going on. Elizabeth, there you are. You might you know the Bee Gees for one thing. But you're an Aussie. You might not remember Dance Fever. I don't know if Dance Fever was on Down Under. There's another sort of Dance Fever going on around here. Wow, man, I wonder if have they wiped these things? We'll see about this. Dance Fever, and it's going on in hospitals. Wow, his connection is. What is Ken Wheeler doing in this thread? Anybody know Ken Wheeler? Theoria Apophysis YouTube channel. Very interesting man. Some very useful, interesting perspectives on science. What in the world is going on, man? All the Dance Fever videos. All right, let's just look at this one. Let's see what they're doing here. Let's see what they're doing. Of it right there. So they're taking care of people. They're getting lots of good stuff done there. Wow. Let's see here. They've still got to be here. Surely they're not gone. Oh, my connection is mad slow. Here we go. Now we're getting there. Dance Fever, my friends. There we go. The Center for Global Human Population Reduction. Somebody added that. That's all right. Yeah, I mean, let's well, that's fantastic. I appreciate the effort on that one. Well done. More Dance Fever? No, this is just someone shooting inside a hospital.
No activity whatsoever. All empty. Yeah, that's it around there.
Irish brothers.
All empty. This is where you get your ultrasounds done. All rooms empty. Nothing getting done.
Yeah, we've seen this. We know everywhere people go, nothing seems to match up with what's being said publicly, mainstream sense. Nothing matches up. We're watching an operation in action. We know that, but I want to get to the Dance Fever. Where's the Dance Fever, man? I came for the Dance Fever. I advertised Dance Fever. Where is it? Where's my Dance Fever? There we go.
Wow, you can really dance.
I don't know where this is.
Wow.
But I know it's TikTok.
He went. They said we've both been dancing.
I don't know who these people are. Are they really nurses? Here are some NHS nurses effing around on equipment and yet another empty ward. All right, so now we have to be it's on Reddit. I don't know if I want to promote this because it's quite dirty and that's not my thing here to get dirty, but it's on Reddit. That's all I'll say. If you poke around on Reddit, you're going to find some stuff that's going to shock you a bit. What's going on? Now, please understand that all of these things we're going to be seeing that people are showing you that's going on in hospitals, nurses and whatnot, they're not all actually nurses. We have to realize that some of these are actually going to be people just buying scrubs and acting a fool. But, you know, I'm afraid that most of them are nurses gone wild. I want to give some credit here to filmyourhospitals.com. Let me just pull that up here for you. Solid gold. Yes, Elizabeth. There you go. Solid gold. Yes, solid gold. No, you really taking me back now. Iconic 70s Aussie rock show. Yeah. Solid gold. We had that here too. Solid gold. As a kid, I like solid gold better than Dance Fever. I think that was, I don't know. I was a little boy. Whenever they had ladies, scantily clad ladies dancing on TV, how could I not look at that? I mean, you know, that's just the way it is, folks. So anyway, filmyourhospital.com. A guy who also, you can find him on YouTube, I think on D Live as well. He's got a radio show or you know, a podcast, I guess we'll say, and he shows it on YouTube as well. Infinite Plane Radio, Infinite Plane Radio, infiniteplanemedia.com. You know, he's on every day doing a really good job of showing these he's showing the dance fever, man. He's showing the dance fever in more than that. He takes calls. He does a good job. I mean, he runs a good show. He runs a better show than I do. But anyway, so hashtag Film Your Hospital, filmyourhospital.com. Just as another resource here. All right, Elizabeth, let's see what we can find here. Having a little fun tonight. Let's see if we can run a little solid gold action here and see what happens. Much music. Oh, yeah, the Canadians. Yes. Canadians have much music, right? Much music now. You're talking about Much Music and MTV coming along even well after Dance Fever and Solid Gold. Back in the day when you had 3, maybe 4 channels on your terrestrial television antenna, Dance Fever, Solid Gold, that's Lawrence Welk Show. Of course, the Lawrence Welk Show. You had to get your culture. So, Solid Gold, the first episode. Here we go, Elizabeth. You asked for it. You didn't ask for it, but you said it, so here it is. Right on, man. Yes, sir. Solid. So these shows were huge. There we go. Look at Dion. So it's the countdown of the top 10. There you go. All right. So there's a look at Solid Gold. You know, our theme tonight is Dance Fever. Also the UFOs. Pentagon has released, you know, new UFO videos. So, of course, you know, I guess that means that the truth is out there, right? So we'll check that out in a minute, too. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, in the theme of Dance Fever, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I got to tell you, my favorite, I can't help it, folks. This is just the truth. This is me. Was Soul Train. Don Cornelius. That's what I'm talking about. How about them shoes, man? What in the world? Can you not break your ankles? That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I did when I was a kid. I watched these shows constantly. I watched these shows and I played sports. I spent my time doing things that would never serve me later in life. I guess that's what you do as a kid, maybe. I don't really know. I don't have any answers. I do know that people in hospitals seem to be having the best time of anybody on the planet right now. The Nazis had a phrase which covered all abuses by the state. It's for your safety. Let's remember that, folks. Let's remember, anytime the government comes knocking and they say, it's for your safety, just be skeptical. Be very skeptical. I need more dance fever. All right, here are these doctors. Now, dare I even hit play on this and have this video just shut down midstream? But here are the two doctors who recently were talking about, the fact that, yeah, okay, so there appears to be a new virus. We can go along with that, but it's not deadly. I mean, it's not deadly to the degree that anyone has been promoting. You see, the best news, in a funny way, the best news that we could receive is that many more people were infected than thought. Now, personally, I don't have any faith whatsoever in how you determine who's an infected person. The tests that they have to determine that, as we covered ad nauseum here, are not. The tests have not been proven to do what they say they can do. Anyway, I don't want to get into that conversation. I've just done that over and over. I've beat that to death. We've covered that. We're moving on from it a little bit now. We've made our case. And today, what I did this afternoon, a little video, I made my case, maybe for the last time, on what in the world are we doing as Christians, allowing the state, allowing the World Health Organization, allowing the CDC to determine whether or not we get together for corporate worship. I can't believe I'm seeing that. Yeah, so you have to scroll quite a ways to get down to the. Yeah, I don't think this one doesn't look. I don't know if this one's authentic or not. This looks like somebody's YouTube video.
Doctors continue to warn this.
Somebody's YouTube video. Hey, there's Rosa Corey. Rosa Corey, author of Behind the Green Mask, the expose of Agenda 21, the best one I've seen, the best one I've found so far. What in the world is this here? Is this something new? No, this is from 2012. So anyway, she's done a good thing, exposing Agenda 21. You want to call it 2030, you want to call it Green New Deal, whatever. And I'm still working my way. What in the world? I'm still working my way through the year of the rat, the year of the dancing rats, dance fever. I'm still working my way through. I was given a tip last night from Pam Pants to look out today for Event 202. And I can't comment on it yet because I haven't combed through it yet. Where are my dance fever people? Here's a report. Funeral directors reveal that COVID death tolls are fraudulent. I don't know what that report is, but we've covered that here. That's from Infinite Plane Media too. There we go. That's from the guy I just introduced you to. I don't know anything about him, or I just know that his channel has been very interesting over the past couple weeks. I don't make any claims about who he is, what he's up to, because I don't know him yet. I just want to be very careful, very upfront about that. But he has done a good job at compiling a a lot of information here on hashtag Film Your Hospital on Twitter and at filmyourhospital.com. He set up the website just for that purpose. I think we have to be very careful about a lot of the things that we look at here to make sure that we're not assuming. Here's some more dancing nurse. To make sure that we're not assuming too many things. And I guess that brings me to a point where I would probably like to say at this point, I need to apologize to the room, to my viewers, for the last time we did one of these shows, this Armor of Truth radio setup. I wigged out midstream. Yeah, it happened. And now I just want to apologize to the room, to everyone who watches, because I got a little passionate about what I was saying. I'm not going to say that I went over the line. I just want to say I can handle myself a little better. I can be a little more gracious in those times. But my sentiment, I don't retract the sentiment. The sentiment being, we have to be very careful about the things we go around saying are this way or that way. Unless we've got some evidence where we can show that and make a case for it, it doesn't do anybody any favors to go around saying things are one way or the other. Oh, that's not real. That's obviously not real because it doesn't look real to me. Is not an argument. It's really not an argument. So we have to be careful about that. And I hope for those of you who have been following along here over the past couple months, I would hope that my approach to talking about this issue has been evidence-based. It has been very little of my opinion, and mostly the research and presentations of folks who would be in position to know. So anyway, as someone who talks, who has occasion to defend Christianity to atheist objections many times, I'm not allowed when I do that to just make claims out of nowhere. That doesn't fly in that arena. So I bring that mindset over to everything else. I don't, that's a logical point of view. So I want to make sure that people understand that's my foundation. That's where I'm coming from. I want to talk about things that I can make a case for. Yeah, so the only thing I see right now is this, where they're carrying out, they appear to be. You guys can check out Film Your Hospital. Here's the doctors again. So you know what? You take the video off of YouTube and suddenly it has a new life out on the internet. It grows and grows and it goes viral off of YouTube. Sometimes I wonder if maybe they want to promote something, just ban it on YouTube and suddenly everybody wants to see it. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on here, because what these doctors were saying is borne out by the evidence. But I just wonder sometimes, you have to be careful about that. Sometimes when things get banned on YouTube, that makes them very exciting and very exotic, and people want to see them immediately, and so they become, they go viral. Anyway, there's Ken Wheeler. All right, so you guys can check out filmyourhospital.com, Film Your Hospital, hashtag Film Your Hospital on Twitter if you want to. You've seen it ad nauseum by now. Nurses dancing all over the place, doctors, orderlies, whatever, all the people working in the hospitals, finding time somehow when they're all overwhelmed to get their boogie on, dance fever in the ER. But let's make sure we're being careful. All right, folks, let's talk UFOs. Let's talk UFOs for a minute. We're going to talk UFOs. First of all, we're going to visit Rich Dolan. Richard Dolan, for years, I've read Rich Dolan's book, UFOs in the National Security State. I don't have any reason. I don't have any evidence to show anyway that Rich Dolan is not a sincere source. But we always have to be careful, don't we? We always have to be careful when someone has made it their life's work to write about, to dig deep into and expose the UFO question. Now, not that we need to discount what people say because they're doing that, they're in that field, but we have to discern what it is. What is their approach? Are they promoting it to the point where it seems like they would that it's becoming more acceptable? Are they making it more easy for people to accept perhaps some kind of false alien presence? I'll give you my take on what I think about aliens and whether or not they're real, whether or not they're here. Number one, it doesn't matter to me. But I was always, even as a kid, I was really fascinated by the idea. Of course, it's an exotic idea. So I was always into UFOs and aliens, and I am one of those people who I've been. I don't know. I can answer any of your questions about the whole UFO community, the people in it, who's written what book, what position they have, right from Stanton Friedman, right on up until today, where we have this To the Stars Academy thing, whatever that is, and Corey Good and all that. Just I've always seen those guys as out there and not genuine. But back in the day, I was reading these books by Stanton Friedman and Rich Dolan and many others. At that time, I wasn't aware enough yet to question how, what might be their motive. All I was looking at it for was, look, the government's lying. Look, the government's lying. They're hiding the UFO presence. That was my mindset, and I think that is the mindset of most people who go into research and reading in that field. You come away with the idea, oh yeah, the government they have known this forever, at least since 1947, Roswell incident. The government has known all about it ever since. And, even Eisenhower met with aliens in Palm Springs, California. Here's the thing about all that. What we lack, as I just sat here and told you, we can't present things as reality and offer them up as something as ideas that people ought to embrace unless we can give good arguments and evidence for it. And there is no now there is, let's just be clear, there is evidence of UFO phenomenon. It's everywhere. The evidence of the phenomenon is everywhere. Now, hard evidence for a craft, hard evidence for an alien body, that you don't have. That we do not have. Oh, well, the government's hiding it all, right? Okay, well, that's convenient. That's convenient that for all these years. The government can't hide, they can't hide anything. Anyway, that's a different issue. So the point is not, is there evidence for the phenomenon? There's pictures all over the place, all kinds of crazy pictures. The question is, what are we looking at? Is there any reason for us to assume that what we're looking at in this evidence, is there any reason for us to assume that it is otherworldly? Yeah, Free the Captive says lots of people promoting the ascended master's teaching out there. And that's what I found. I would dare say that my deep affection for the UFO subject and the community and all of its personalities is probably what led me into embracing occultism and Western esotericism many years ago. Well, not that many years ago, but years ago. Because the more involved you get with that, the more you start thinking about consciousness and expanding consciousness. And maybe these alien beings are so advanced that their minds, maybe they travel interdimensionally. So you start thinking about stuff like that, which is interesting to think about. But unless you have a firm context in reality, unless your feet are planted firmly in an evidence-based reality, those thoughts can lead you into a place where you lose touch with reality. And you see that a lot. People who are remote viewers, for example. Rich Dolan's wife happens to be a remote viewer. I don't doubt that they're able to achieve this phenomenon. I don't doubt that. The reason I don't doubt that is because I'm aware that there is another world. There is a spiritual world. There is another realm that we don't see, but can in some ways interact with. We have to assume that if we believe in God, because God is a metaphysical concept. Our God, our creator. When you go into apologetics and you're trying to make the case for God, you're making a metaphysical case. When an atheist comes to you and says God doesn't exist, he's making a metaphysical claim. That's not a claim of science. That's a metaphysical claim. You've jumped into the realm of metaphysics when you make a claim one way or the other about God, because God is, according to Scripture, a spirit. God is timeless, spaceless, matterless. Also, all-powerful, omniscient, omnipresent. So it's very easy for Christians to accept that another dimension exists, or that a realm of spirit exists, because that's what our faith informs us of. Miss Ostrich, thank you. Stephen Greer, teaching people how to invite them. I'll tell you, I went through Stephen Greer's program, did that several times. And yeah, actually where I live right now, where I've lived all my life, I've lived away from here, but I'm back now. But where I live here in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, Stephen Greer used to be a doctor, an emergency room doctor at the hospital right here in the next town over from where I live. And when I was playing football in middle school, I got a couple of concussions and was taken to the hospital. And Stephen Greer was the doctor. Dr. Stephen Greer, he was the one in there. This was back when he was into the issue, but he hadn't left, being a doctor yet to take up being the character that he is today. So yeah, Stephen Greer, I'm well aware of Stephen Greer before he was a UFO guy, before he was a whatever he is today. His point of view that it goes off the reservation for me, but yeah, so I'm aware of him and his methods, his techniques for inviting aliens in, right? You can think you're inviting aliens in. What you're inviting in is your adversary and his minions. And they love to dazzle you, don't they? So in that respect, I don't doubt that these phenomena can occur, that people do see things that they can't explain, that things happen that defy the physics, the known physics we have. I don't doubt that people see that and experience that regularly, because that's what Satan does. He deceives people. I know this because I was one of them for a very long time. Okay. Yeah, Miss Ostrich, it's interesting. I got that. I downloaded his yeah, I listened to all his lectures too. I downloaded his app and did the whole thing, man, going out to invite, aliens, UFOs to come into my area and all that, and doing meditation. The idea behind his method is meditation. You meditate and attempt to connect mentally with these aliens. Now, as Christians, we know what that is. Good point, Free the Captives. Stephen Greer is a promoter. He's not exposing anything. He is promoting an agenda. No question about that. That's his MO. All right. So anyway, Miss Sasha says, I almost downloaded his app. Yeah. So it's, it's meditation. He's teaching you meditation. He's teaching you 3-part breathing, clearing the mind, all that. He's teaching meditation. And as part of the meditation, he's teaching, invite these beings in. It's just new age. It's new age thinking. It's promoting new age ideology. So anyway, let's just hear what Richard. We're going to get to this Pentagon really in the past couple days. Now, why do you think maybe they would choose at this time? They could release this information at any time they want, okay? Because the evidence they're offering, we can be fairly certain. We can't know everything. I don't think that Christianity, I don't think that believing in God and being a Christian, a fundamental Bible believing Christian, I don't think that we have to exclude that there might be another life form. I don't want to get too deep into that because my thoughts are not fully formed on that yet. But I don't think it necessarily excludes that there could be life somewhere else. So what I don't see is any evidence for it. I'm talking about physical life like us, bodies, sentient beings with intentions who can get in a vehicle and fly around or travel through space the way we do. Now, if you're talking about spiritual, sure. I don't know what all might be available in a spiritual realm, but as far as beings, alien beings from other worlds, I don't know. I don't think being a Christian precludes that. But anyway, let's see what... I'm curious as to why the Pentagon would release that information right now in the middle of all of this fear and propaganda that we're caught up in right now. That's a good point, Elizabeth. I want to read what Elizabeth said. She says, talking about hospitals, I know them well. Most doctors and nurses are amazing. Agree, 100%. New age stuff is really weird. Yeah, been there, got the t-shirt. And also I've mentioned here a few times, I've had occasion to work in hospitals, intensive care unit, and, doing therapy with patients. And I can tell you this much. Any of this stuff you're seeing happen in the hospitals, the dancing and the shenanigans and filming it on video, number one, if you did any of that stuff, you get fired. You don't do that in the hospital. And if you did that and you filmed it and you put it out on the internet, you're shooting a film inside the hospital. And you're shooting a film inside the hospital of you acting a fool, being completely inappropriate, misusing the equipment. People using gurneys like they're boats, misusing the equipment, misusing the personal protective equipment. Now, the hospital I'm familiar with that I worked in, if you did that in that hospital, not only would you be fired, you'd have a lawsuit to contend with because you don't do that. You don't do that. So I'm curious as to why these people think that's okay and why they're able to get away with it now. And then when we see that opening ceremony from the 2012 Olympics, it all seems to come together and start making sense. Now, don't it? That's true, Free the Captives. There's a lot of shenanigans in them hospitals. Let's see what Rich Dolan says here about the Pentagon releasing this UFO info. Because in my opinion, I'm not endorsing his point of view, but he is one of the most logical-minded, cogent thinkers that you can find to talk about the issue, and he might be able to give us some kind of perspective on maybe why the Pentagon would do this right now. We might not agree with him, but it's going to be an intelligent answer. Let's see what happens. If it plays, we'll see what happens. Got a slow connection.
The Pentagon finally admitted that all those UFO videos that were released a couple of years ago are in fact legitimate. And it's a really funny thing because researchers have known this all along, but the Pentagon was dragging its feet, but they were essentially forced into this admission. And it's good for us that this has happened. But let's not forget sight of the important issue here, which is we need to keep asking, who is making these types of objects that seem absolutely impossible by any technological or any science that we understand today? There is no way for us to explain these objects, and we need to keep pressing that matter.
All right, folks. Now that's why I picked Richard Dolan's point of view. Now we're going to go outside of Christianity. I think I don't know. I don't want to make such these claims, but I think Rich could be Catholic. I don't know for sure. I don't want to say that, but I've heard him speak several times, and it could be the case. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying to you is that we're not getting the Christian perspective here. We're getting Richard Dolan's perspective as a researcher and someone who's written many books about this issue, a man who is a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, you can make of that what you will, but he's a smart guy, and he's always seemed to be, for the most part, an honest guy. And his answer to this question is exactly why I wanted to bring his opinion forward. What's the question we need to be asking, really, about these? Goodness gracious, here we go. YouTube is a mess. So what is the question we actually need to be asking about this phenomenon?
The Pentagon finally admitted that all those UFO videos that were released a couple of years ago are in fact legitimate.
Okay, right there. The Pentagon admitted. All right, the Pentagon doesn't admit anything. First of all, now that's where I'll disagree with him. I don't think, anyway, that the Pentagon admits anything. Ever. They don't ever admit anything. They don't ever show their cards. That's not what they're in the business of doing. They're in the business of national security. They're in the business of keeping secrets because that's good for business. That's how business is done today. That's how the world is controlled. That's how the world is run today, by secrets, by national security. So I don't agree with him that the Pentagon has admitted anything. I do think that what the Pentagon does is very orchestrated and well planned out. So what we're seeing with this release of videos is surely a planned event. So now what's the next part? Next question?
And it's a really funny thing because researchers have known this all along, but the Pentagon was dragging its feet, but they were essentially forced into this admission.
Another thing that I do not buy or believe, that the Pentagon gets forced into doing anything by UFO researchers. Are you with me, folks? The Pentagon does not answer to UFO researchers. They're not under any pressure from you or me or any UFO researchers. All right, so let's just keep that perspective here. I really appreciate Rich Dolan, but these are the areas where I have sharp disagreement with. Nobody is telling the Pentagon what to do. Nobody's influencing the Pentagon to do anything. That's ridiculous.
And it's good for us that this has happened. But
Is it good for us that the Pentagon has released more videos that purport alien ships flying in our atmosphere? Which I'll show them in just a minute. I want to look at them with you because I haven't looked at them yet. I mean, they look, from what I've seen from the thumbnails, they look exactly like the stuff that was released a few years ago.
let's not forget sight of the important issue here, which is we need to keep asking, who is making these types of objects that seem absolutely impossible by any technological or any science that we understand today?
All right. So Rich Dolan is an author. He is invested in the idea that there is a UFO secret. He's invested in that idea. He's made his living on it. And I don't begrudge him that. You know, do it, whatever you want to do. But now here's the problem. He's invested in that. He's invested in the idea that there must be a secret. But he's absolutely right. And this is what we all have to do when we see things like this. We don't immediately say, oh, it's staged. Oh, it's fake. It's blah, blah, blah. Just think critically about it. What would be the first question you would ask? Okay, you can't explain the video. You can say the video's a fake if you want to. That's fine. But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that the video is legitimate. Because that's what we said right here at the beginning. He said at the beginning of his message here was that the Pentagon admitted that the videos were legitimate. What does that mean? The videos, saying that the videos are legitimate only means that the videos are real videos. You see how that works? That doesn't mean that the videos are real videos that show actual alien craft and technology. That's not what that means. It just means that the video is a legitimate video. So the Pentagon has admitted that the videos are legitimate. Okay, that doesn't tell us anything, does it? It tells us nothing. But the right question to ask is the one he asked there. Who, if these things are in the sky, if people are truly seeing I've seen things. So I've seen weird things in the sky, but I don't have any reason to assume that it's alien. It's weird and I can't explain it, but why would I immediately say, oh, that's clearly an alien? That's what people did in the Middle Ages when they couldn't explain something. They said, oh, it's the spirits, or it's whatever. It's the monsters. It's the ghouls. We have no reason to assume that anything like that is alien. So, but he's right. He asks the right question. Who, if these craft are really there in these videos, if in fact the videos are legitimate in that they're showing something real happening in the sky, first of all, what is the thing that we see in the sky? Because we never get a clear look at it. And secondly, who controls it? Who owns it? Whose vehicle is it? And here's the most important point you're going to hear from me about this. Why would we assume that the craft that we're looking at are anything other than man-made vehicles? Why would we assume it? We don't know. We think we know things. We like to think that we know things. We think that we understand the world. We think that we all think. This is why I had that hard time in the last AoT radio video we did. This is why I had a hard time and I had to speak out and make an example of a position, is because we think we know things. We all think we have a little piece of the conspiracy puzzle. You know the truth? We don't know squat. We don't really know anything. We think we know things, and we follow lines of anecdotal evidence. We think we know things, but we do err when we assume that we have the full picture. Okay, so there's Rich. Let's see, has he done a video on this yet? Let's look at his channel right quick. Elizabeth says here, just for a moment, let's look at the chat.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. I've been writing about...
Sorry about that. Elizabeth says, still waking up here down under. She's a little, I get you. Elizabeth is... it's a bit... she's tired. That's cool. I can relate to that. So 2 days ago, Richard has a interview with I don't know. This is not about the Pentagon stuff. All right. We will have a look at these pictures. And here they are. These are the most current pictures. Now, what are we looking at there, folks? That's being presented to you as evidence of alien presence. You see the aliens there? Look closely. Look closely. Do you see the aliens? See, he's right there. Look, the alien's right there. This is the evidence we have, folks. This is what the Pentagon was forced. The Pentagon was forced to release these and to admit that they were legitimate. They were forced to admit that this garbage is aliens. This is garbage. This is nonsense. Let's go back over here and see if I can get the. I want to play the video, but gosh, I mean, I don't want. It's a minefield out here. You don't know what you can play and what you can't play. Two minutes. Here's a 39-second clip. Let me just see here. I'm going to just see what we can do here. I mean, get the sound off of it and continue to be speaking over it. I want this to be transformative. This is news, man. I don't know why they would. I am a news person. I am the media. I'm allowed to cover this, right? Here we go. Okay. Let me mute this. All right. Maybe we can get away with it. Maybe we can get away with doing news, with actually covering the news here. All right, so this is from April 28th, 2020, or that's when this piece was done. So within the last week, the Pentagon was forced to release all this and admit that it was legitimate. What are we really seeing here? What is this? This looks like a bean. No. Now, these are the pilots talking to one another. He's reporting a whole fleet of them. What we're seeing, I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? They're all going against the wind. The wind is 120 knots to the west. So, yeah, it's weird, man. They're really... we're just going to take their word for it. We're going to assume that the pilots are actually reporting what they see. We're going to assume that their emotions are in concert with what's actually happening around them. We'll just assume that. We have no reason to believe that any of that is true, but let's just assume it for the sake of argument, because if we want to look at this critically, you give them the benefit of the doubt. So, okay, they have the benefit of the doubt. Still, what am I looking at here? So the radar is tracking something that's moving along in the sky, and we have no idea what it is. Folks, this is big old nothing burger. This is fodder. I mean, this is not, this is just, I don't know what to call it. I mean, propaganda seems to be a little overused, a little passé at this point. Oh boy, the Telegraph. This is dangerous. Let's see. Yeah, more of the same. I mean, look at this stuff, man. This is the same video. Now here's a different one. Here's a different target. Yeah, look, come on, man. You're going to have to do better than that. You're really going to have to do better than that if you want me to get excited about an alien craft. I mean, this is ridiculous. If this is the best you've got, and the Pentagon was forced to release it, folks, you're looking at an operation. You're looking at again, we're assuming that the videos are legitimate, that they're legitimately videos that come from the military. What's in the videos, you can't speak of, but there's no way to know. So since 1947, this same cat and mouse game has been going on. At this point, if you wanted people to continue to believe your story, you have to give them crumbs. You have to give them a little bit every now and then to keep them going. Here we are again. Oh, that's last year. Let me fix this search so that we only get stuff from this week. There. So, yeah, Donald Trump has a comment on the leaked. You know, anytime we hear the word leak, you can be sure that it wasn't leaked. It was purposely handed out. What we're looking at is, in my opinion, a limited hangout. Here are some videos that may be legitimate, maybe they're not, but what we are getting for sure is something called a limited hangout, where a little bit of the story is let out in order to help shape the narrative. So I'm Read Captain says distraction. I would not disagree with that. So what do you guys think? What are your opinions on why would they choose to offer this up for public consumption right now in the middle of what's going on? What are some of your ideas, opinions about it? Ms. Archer says Donald Rumsfeld makes a good point about known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown. Yes. And it's true. What he says is true. It just sounds funny. That is true. That's a good video too, to watch him talk about the known knowns, the known unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. Yeah, you have to be humble enough to realize that you don't know everything. You don't know what this stuff is in the video. I mean, they could be tracking something that they don't know what it is. That's a possibility. Why would we assume that it's not? What would be the basis, the foundation of our thinking for saying, oh, it's a fake? Well, because I've never seen it before. Because I've never seen anything like that before, this is a fake. Well, that's not clear thinking. That's not logical. It's not a logical thinking. But as I've said over and over, the point here is to not assume too much, but to not go too far into discredit land either. You can't, if you get into the habit of saying it's staged or it's fake, or then you're getting sucked into the propaganda, because that's how they want you to think. They want you to think that things are black or white. And they want people divided into the black camp and the white camp. Critical thinking happens over here in the middle, where you look at all sides of the issue. So here's an article about the release. On Monday, the Pentagon formally released unclassified. What? The Pentagon formally released unclassified footage. So this was just footage that was already available, apparently. Pentagon formally released, let me blow this up so you guys can see it a little bit maybe. Pentagon formally released unclassified footage of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Once again, there's your new term. It's not UFOs anymore. Remember? Hillary Clinton introduced us to the new term. It's not UFOs anymore. It's UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Very interested, perhaps, Miss Ostrich, why you seem like someone who might be able to offer a perspective on why in the world What would be the point in changing the terminology from UFO to UAP, from unidentified flying object to unidentified aerial phenomenon? I guess maybe because it doesn't have to do with flying. It just has to do with it's in the air. It's up there. President Trump reacted to the footage in an interview with Reuters on Wednesday, calling it a hell of a video. What does that mean? Trump is the best you've ever seen. I don't know. Maybe Obama. The best you've ever seen at saying a lot and not saying a thing. Just talking, and nothing of substance will come out. He's good. He's good at BSing. But I think probably Obama he gets the trophy. 3 unclassified videos were taken by NA pilots. Who is this? This is CBS News. Look at this, folks. CBS News cannot afford an editor on their website. 3 unclassified videos were taken by NA pilots. Well, we know it was Navy pilots. You telling me CBS News can't afford someone to read over their articles and make sure the spelling's right? Wow. That's telling. So anyway, these NA pilots have circulated for years without confirmation. Okay, so we don't have new videos. What we have is confirmation that they're legitimately videos, which is still nothing. One of the videos shows an incident from 2004, and the other 2 were recorded in January 2015, according to Sue Goff, Defense Department spokeswoman. Quote, "I just wonder if it's real," the president lightheartedly told Reuters. That's a hell of a video. The videos were made public following unauthorized leaks in 2007 and 2017, and the Navy previously verified their authenticity. They appear to show an unidentified flying objects, UFOs if you didn't know, flying very quickly as Navy pilots react, astounded. Quote, "Dude, it's an effing drone, bro." Really? Is that how Navy pilots talk when they're running a mission, when they're doing an exercise? Dude, come on. Maybe they did. I don't know. Doesn't sound right. A pilot exclaims in one of the videos. Another person says, quote, "There's a whole fleet of them. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing, dude." Unquote. And they said it's rotating. In another video, an object is shown from above speeding over an ocean, prompting the pilot to excitedly remark, "What the F is that?" Goff said that the department was formally releasing the videos to address questions about their veracity. They're going to address questions about whether they're real or not, because we can trust them, right? Because if they tell us they're real, well, then they're real. They're real. If they say they're real. If they say they're not real, then they're not real, right? DOD is releasing the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage has been circulating was real, or whether or not there is more to the videos. The aerial phenomena observed in the videos remain characterized as unidentified, which is a very, very convenient distinction to have. Oh, it's unidentified. We can't identify what it is, but there it is. It's just we don't know what it is. Do you think for 1 second, just think about this for a minute. Do you think for 1 second that if the Department of Defense, that if the Pentagon knew of something out there that they really could not explain, do you think for half a second that they would admit that? Would the Pentagon or anybody in there admit or be allowed to say anything close to admitting that there's something going on that they can't explain? It makes them look weak. It makes them look like they're not as strong. It makes them look like they're not the superpower. The only way they would do that, the only reason that they would say, "Oh, it's unidentified. We don't know what it is. It's something that we can't control," is if they want you to think that. For some reason, they want you to think that there's something out there that could be an existential threat, possibly, that we can't control. We don't know where it is, what it is, or where it came from. While the president has a history of acknowledging and apparently supporting some conspiracy theories, he's expressed skepticism surrounding the existence of UFOs, which the government have been tracking for decades. Have they? Have the government been tracking them for decades? Is that a true statement? We don't know. We don't know what they're tracking. We don't know what these videos are. Quote, I did have one very brief meeting on it, Trump told ABC News in June 2019. But people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly. He says, I think my great pilots would know. Our great pilots would know. That's what he said at the time regarding the potential existence of extraterrestrial life. So Donald Trump thinks that if ET is real, then his great pilots would know about it. That is absolutely not what Donald Trump thinks in his brain. That is what Donald Trump says to the public because he's a politician. He's a businessman first, politician. Businessmen are politicians. So that is not what Donald Trump thinks on any day of the week in his life. He does not think that my great pilots would know. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows this is a scam. So once again, we're not saying that UFOs are not real. We're not saying that these things don't exist. We're not making any claims about aliens. But what we are saying is we don't know what these things are, and there's no reason to speculate just because the Pentagon has said, oh, the videos are legitimate. That doesn't tell you anything. But you can see. Let's just see for a second how the UFO community is responding to this. If I can get through these news, where the news is cluttering up here. If you want to get the true, you want to put your finger on the pulse of the UFO and the New Age community, you want to check the pulse of one David Wilcock. And you guys know this. You guys know this guy. You know him. Let's see if he had anything to say about this in the last couple of days. Because this will give away the whole game. Whatever Wilcock is saying will give away the whole shooting match. So it looks like his last video is a week ago. So he hasn't come out and made any comments about this lately. What is Wilcock saying about the pandemic? My goodness, man, that's a 5-hour video. I'm not clicking on that. That is not a rabbit hole. That's a dadgum vortex. I'm not going there. Look at these videos. He has nothing less than 2 hours. Here's some short ones. Yeah, but I wouldn't mind hearing what he has to say about this pen. I'm curious as to where Mr. UFO, Mr. Blue Avian, Mr. UFO. Curious as to where his head is, or what part of the narrative he's carrying today. Let's look for Mr. Corey Good, the scam of all scams. Corey Good and James Gilliland. Oh, here's Corey Good doing a quarantine update. Let's just indulge it. Let's see what Mr. Blue Avian has to say. Wow, I am positive that this would be a strike. Let's go closed caption then. I don't intend to get any claims from the Blue Avians. Yeah, that's right. Free the captives. David Wilcock is the foundation of his existence in this art of scams is that he claims to be the reincarnated Edgar Casey. Well, There you go. There you go. So let's see if we can read what Corey's saying here, because you got to have a cute ponytail if you're going to be a new age maven. I'm not making fun of ponytails, man. Hello, quarantine. It's beautiful here in El Dorado Canyon. You think I'm going to get away with playing this video? I mean, this is one of the most litigious human beings on the planet. And his Sphere Being Alliance here is, I don't know. It might be, you know what? It might be fun to get a copyright claim from Sphere Being Alliance. I'll just read it though. We're here in beautiful El Dorado Canyon. Well, I guess being a blue avian has done Corey very well for himself. I don't know. Let's see. Decided to get out. Spend some time in nature. Okay. It's been hard on a lot of people. Let's get on down here and see what's going on. So he's not really saying anything. He's just talking about what everybody's doing. He's talking about the content he's putting up. Okay, this is promotion. He's not giving any. Talking about his interview with James Gilliland. The ESETI event. Yeah, there you go. That's some Stephen Greer stuff there. 4th of July event confirmed. Is it? You think you're going to have that? Think they're going to let you have that? Well, we're not going to spend any time over here. This is not anything we need to be looking at. There's no message there. All right. What's going on over here in the chat? What have I missed, folks? I've missed here in the chat. I've been looking up here and go over here and see what we can find. Oh, there's Elizabeth talking about Patreon. I'm glad you reminded me of that, Elizabeth. On Patreon, I've put some new videos, or made some new videos available. I've made some videos available. And today I did a video on a behind the scenes where I walked around in here in this studio, this room, and showed the equipment and showed the books in the room, and I was just showing how the donuts get made here. Nothing fancy. I just wanted to show some behind the scenes stuff, and I intend to send a link out to the other folks too, PayPal folks. Just a little something. My point, my goal is to never have anything gospel related behind a paywall of any kind ever, because that would be not good. So we've had a few new subscribers here in the past couple days. So I'm gonna let those show up on the screen now. Thanks. Welcome to Jewel. Bina. Welcome. And here's Minamoto Koji. And also we have Asquillo, Aqueen. Wow, these are interesting names. So new subscribers, and lately we've also had subscribers fall away. It happens. Sometimes people get their feelings hurt when things don't go their way. And like I said earlier, folks, I apologize for the level, for the degree of forcefulness that I displayed in making that point, but the point stands. It has to. So I want to encourage you folks to take a look at filmyourhospital.com. You know, I'm not telling you what to think. You've never heard me do that here. I don't tell you what to think. But I want to present you with stuff, you know. I'm not showing anything you probably didn't already know about. But if we can, you know, the pandemic flyer on AoT, the last one of these Armor of Truth radio shows that we did, get that pandemic flyer. It was a chicken's head with a man's body. You must be talking about the blue avians. There, Freed Captus. Frida Cap says UFO psyop. I think it's called externalization. Externalization of the hierarchy. The UFO phenomenon is it's part of the externalization of the hierarchy. In other words, the revealing of the spirit world, of how the spirit world essentially, from the Madame Blavatsky idea of externalization of the hierarchy, it is to expose how Lucifer is actually in control of things. That's their idea of externalization of the hierarchy. Free the Captive says, part of the CIA counterculture narrative. They're trying to make us all info theosophists and occultists. You're a wizard, Harry. Yes, and that's exactly right. And I'm here to tell you that I went right into it. I fell right for it. I went into it. And I came out of it understanding that that ritual magic, things like that, very real. They have very real effects. They have effects right here in the real world. But not for the reasons that you think when you're involved with it. It is the greatest deception. That's right, Elizabeth. We don't know what NAY pilots are. Somehow or another, CBS News, they didn't feel a need to have an editor. They'll just throw that information out there. Elizabeth Oakman says, "Cool. I really like behind the scenes stuff." Well, good. I'm glad you thought that was all right. So hope to share more of that as we go. All right, my friends. That's all we've got for you tonight. A little update on UFOs and some dance fever. Just a little hangout together. We'll get these going more regularly so that we can get together and get our community solidified. It could be possible that this weekend or coming up sometime soon, might be able to do a trivia show on another platform. We'll just see. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to make any promises and put anybody on the spot, but it's possible that the trivia show might show up on another platform, a larger platform, here in the next few days, if that works out. So keep your eyes open for that. I'll be sure to let you know here, and that platform will let you know too. That channel. All right, my friends. I'd like to say God bless you all, and we'll see you here again next time. Don't fall for the propaganda. You're smarter than that.